be a while and let me change your mind. I can show you things that insecure or hiding. Let me show you, baby. Don't be afraid. I can show you things or hiding. Let me show you or hiding. Let me show you. I can show you that you're insecure or hiding. Let me show. Hey everyone. So if you're familiar with these artist talks, I always ask each artist what they're listening to. So that was Cure by Moonchild, and that is what Jupiter the artist is listening to right now. My name is Faith J. McKinnie, and I'm an independent curator based in Sacramento. It is an important part of my curatorial practice to consistently engage in meaningful conversation with artists about their work. So I'm really excited to present this evening's artist, Jupiter. Now, I will admit that Jupiter and I have these types of conversations almost every night. So you're joining two friends discussing how Jupiter and his work show up in the world. If you're watching along live with us on Facebook or YouTube, throw your questions in the chat and we'll try to get some of them answered towards the end of the talk. Jupiter is a contemporary abstract artist who currently resides in Sacramento, California. His work is created to make the viewer feel comfortable and uneasy at the same time, focusing on beings who are daily ostracized while giving light to the humanity of dark-skinned people who originate from Africa. Hey, Jupiter.
Hey.
Thanks for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. Very, very good.
Good. You look good. You look nice and warm and cozy. You know, we enter cold weather in Sacramento.
Okay, that snuggle weather is no joke. Like,
right. All right, so I have a lot of work that I want to show and discuss, so let's jump right in.
All right.
Okay, so the first question I have for you, the Madonna, or the Black Madonna rather, shows up quite often in your work. Can you share with us the significance of the maternal figure in your work?
Yes, the Black Madonna resonated with me soon, like right after my mother passed away last year. And so I always incorporate the Madonna into my pieces or into my work as a symbol of atonement, almost, if you will, like me apologizing for the times I was a little ratchet, is what kids do when their parents are alive or whatever, But yes, it's like showing her and everyone else that I love her, and that, people need to honor their mothers, like the mother figure. A woman is bomb, a woman is God, like they can create life. So I always try to put that in the forefront.
Yes, that's beautiful. Was your work different when your mother was still with us? What was the subject matter then?
The subject matter then, it was more on family, like aunts and uncles and cousins. I was real interested in big group dynamics and painting with water, or using watercolors to create art. And then after that, after she passed, my figures started to change, get more deformed, and that's when the Madonnas entered in.
Okay. So I'm interested in how you depict the Black body. Can you talk about the disfigurement and distortions that the viewer experiences in your work?
Yes, so I try to capture our pain as Black people, that trauma that's passed down through the DNA. And so we all have it, in some form or fashion. And I try to capture that with the arms, the legs, the fingers. If an arm is too big or too small, if it looks decapitated or whatnot, I want people to see our life's journey almost, not just ours, but since the beginning, of time, if you will. But that's my goal, is to capture like the heaviness of Black people and the lightness, our complexities. It's annoying at times because I don't like I don't want all my work to look the same. I don't want all the arms to look the same, even though they can be. But it's like I just try to give into that vulnerability that I think Black people carry a lot, you know, throughout
Mhm.
the.
Yeah. The disfigurement in your work presents like the product of a gaze, I believe, that just a white gaze that
Yeah.
constantly explores and misunderstands the Black figure. How does the white gaze influence your work?
Well, I mean, you go outside and damn, oh, he's looking at me like that, like I have 3 legs. Okay.
Right, right. I mean, truly, like sometimes we show up in places and we get those looks, like we have, 2 heads and 1 leg,
Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. You can handle all this cocoa. I see
Right.
what you know. But I I'm just like with my new work right now, especially, but even in the past, my work has always been kind of focused on the white gaze, how they look at us, how they view us, and it plays a part into the disfigurement of the bodies. Like they could see a whole Black woman, Black man, very astute, educated, and they still look deformed and decapitated to them because they have these preconceived notions and these stereotypical thought patterns and all this crap that we've been brainwashed with. So
Mm.
that white gaze, it's hard. It's kind of hard to capture because not all of white people have that white gaze. I don't think. I don't want to sound ignorant and just group a whole bunch of people into one
Right.
thing. But yeah, the white gaze is very, very convicting. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my God, they looked at me this way. And, like, did he smile at me? Oh my God, he smiled at me. I feel like I gain an extra 10 points.
Yeah.
you know?
Right. What about materials? How does your use of cardboard and Lady Liberty and A Moment to Be, that were just on the screen, how do those that work and that material speak to the Black body?
Yeah, well, like I started using cardboard when the pandemic first hit because it was, easy access. I didn't want to
Mm.
wait a couple weeks to get, to order canvas or anything like that. And so I had it right at the ready. I'm like, oh, I can just be green and really be an artist and use what you have, that's around you, found objects. And the cardboard, it's so passed over. It's so regular. Like Black people, you see it all the time. You really don't give any thought to it. But cardboard, I mean, people make houses out of it. You see them down on Skid Row or down by the freeway. They got their cardboard houses. It provides shelter. It can hold things. Sometimes it gets burned and molded and wet, but it's very durable. And so
Mm.
I attributed that to the Black body, the Black people. Like we've been hosed, we've been burned, literally, figuratively, mentally, spiritually, all the things. And so
Mm.
cardboard is a great tool for me, a great medium for me to use, as a part of my art process.
So I noticed a significant change in your most recent works. The
Mhm.
colors that you're using, your techniques, and even the subject matter. Can you tell us what you're exploring in your new works?
Yeah, so I'm allowing myself to be more free, like with this one, Midnight with Mom. Not, just being messy and
Mm.
very abstract, not having perfect lines. And, it doesn't have to be all that. As long as I'm staying true to myself, my core, it's going to be good. I have to trust the process, trust who I am. And it's really freeing just to let loose on the canvas and not have to worry about a straight circle or a straight line for this arm or finger or whatever.
Mm.
And in this new work, I am only using black and white to paint, and I love the juxtapositions of black and white. I love the just all of it. I can say so much with just using 2 colors. I was talking to a good friend of mine last night. We were talking about when we're given restrictions to create, you can see the true test or the true whatever of an artist. You can see their whole selves, you know, because when you have restrictions, you're like, okay, I only have this to use, but watch me F it up, you know, in a good way. Try not to cuss. Try not to cuss.
Oh, you can cuss. It's a safe space here. While this, actually, if we can go back to that last image, I'm interested in your work about the shoes. In a lot of your work, we see the heels and the shoes have there's the color for one, and then it's intentional. It feels intentional that these shoes were placed on these figures. Can you tell us a little bit more about the shoes in this piece and overall in a lot of your works?
Okay, yeah. Well, the shoes in this piece, so it has a lot to deal with like having sure footing, you know, unshakable ground, rooted and grounded, you know, and also it deals with the fact of a facade or trying to put on, you know, what's around us, trying to keep up with the Joneses, if you will. So for the most part, for right now, these shoes depict, in this picture, this piece up here, they depict almost their energy. Like the one with the stripes, she's more free almost, you know, more outgoing. The one with the red, to me, it dealt with a lot of pain. And the gray is just like blasé, like, you know, they're trying to get her up to whatever they're trying to get into. But
Yeah.
you know, shoes, basically it's just about sure footing and being grounded in who you are and knowing yourself. And sometimes I like to paint feet, but then I'm like, nah, just little things I can say a lot more, you know.
Okay. Yeah, and this is actually one of the that was one of the newer works that you're working on. So I'm interested. So I love your figurative abstractions, obviously abstraction. But what I noticed in this new work, and I'm thinking of, which I don't have an image of, is Little Dick Bitch, which is one of my favorites. And then the Lady Liberty series, those three pieces. And it was felt very politically charged. It was still abstraction, but there was still some, I mean, I think of the Lady Liberty with this one, obviously. This is one of my favorites, which is actually in my personal collection. But there's some that you have like with cotton, and you have with the nooses, and the Little Big Bitch, which is a Black police officer with a small white penis. Those works were and I wish I had images of those. I wish I had images to show everyone. Those were very, you know, I could look at that and I knew what you were telling me. And with the newer works, I feel like it's a little bit more subtle, which I really enjoy. But is that right now, is that your intention to kind of dial back a little bit with the work? I just noticed that change in your work as far as just in the figures that we see.
Yeah. It is dialed back a little bit, but I would say dialed back with the colors. It's still gonna be very in your face, you know. I have some pieces that I'm working on with some transgendered lovely human beings, and so I want to capture that as well.
Nice.
With same-sex couples, you know, and then Black and white couples as well. So I'm playing with that whole aspect, the duality, you know, of that opposite side of the same coin or whatever. Doing that. I know with the flag pieces, the Lady Liberty pieces, child, they were so up in their feelings.
Right.
So through. I was like, what? Well, I don't look at the flag like that. You know, it represents to me. I don't care what it represents to you, George.
Right.
Damn.
And I will tell you, Jupiter, that's one thing that I love about you. And I think for anyone that knows you or follows you, you are going to say what's on your mind. And I think about your social media. Amen. I think about the interviews that you've done, and whether that be about local artists, about the art world, about arts organizations. I love it. And I see that in your work. And that's, for me, it feels very genuine. I can see what you're saying, you know, just knowing you and what you're saying, and then also in your work, and that voice is consistent. So just with that said, is there anything that you want to say? I know that you're going to say anyway. I would say this is a platform. Is there anything right now, what are you thinking through? What are you thinking about? I know we're just off the election, and especially, and that's why the Lady Liberty piece really resonated for me then. And now, because I'm looking at this Black woman, and I think about how Black women, saved this country, and I see that. For me, this piece, if we can stop on this piece, so when I seen this at Bisa Katagaro Gallery, you presented it. It's cardboard, acrylic on cardboard, right?
Yes.
And gold leaf are the shoes. Okay, gold leaf, yes. And so I seen this as an embrace. I seen a Black woman embracing this country with her arms open wide, like a big mama, like, we've been taking care of this country, but also I see her being crucified. And that's why this work was so powerful immediately to me. And then the other two pieces, which I don't have images for, but there was cotton. They were both American flags, but one was cotton and one were nooses. So that was also telling this. You had a specific message that you were telling us. But I really, really, truly love that about your work. And there does feel like there's some duality just in this piece alone, and in many of your works.
Oh yes.
So back to that. Is there anything that you want to say, or is there?
Right now I've kind of put away all the bullshit, with people posers and posting posters, and that's too many damn P's in that sentence. But I can't. I gotta focus on my show that I have coming up. I have to focus on my residencies. I have to focus on my life, my family, my niece, my soon-to-be niece, nephew. We don't know what it is yet, but
nice.
I can't be tied up with that. We've all been in quarantine, but I've been staying in on purpose as of late, not even trying to go out like that. Just because I'm tired of seeing those big Trump trucks, I'm tired of seeing that. I'm tired of seeing the police. I'm tired of child. I'm just tired of, I'm not going to say that.
I'm just tired. Period.
I'm tired.
So, thinking about that, I always ask, especially Black people, how are you finding your joy? Because we are tired, and especially I found just this last week after the election, I was very fatigued, and I just felt like, just all of these emotions, and then just nothing, and now I'm just, I feel defeated. So, what's uplifting you? What's bringing you joy right now?
Well, right now I make sure to have fun, and so it brings me joy. I'll take 10 minutes out of my day and put on some gospel music and take out shouting by myself. Just going.
What are you listening to? Because I'm listening to that Yolanda. I'm on that Yolanda Adams. I'm on I'm everything Yolanda.
Everything yo.
The battle is the Lord's. That's why I'm on repeat.
Okay.
The battle is the Lord.
I don't have to fight this. It's his. I've been playing a lot of old school John P. Key and Hezekiah Walker. Fred Hammond. Fred.
Okay.
Right. And then 10 minutes after that's up, after my praise and worship, I put on my kaya, my neck, my back. I go in.
That duality.
Come on, church. That duality, it keeps us here.
And I'm going to share something with everyone watching. You are actually a phenomenal singer. I've heard your voice is so beautiful, and I don't think people know that about you. I didn't know that for the longest time until we were somewhere and you just did a tune. I was like, wait a second.
A little something. So my family is musically gifted, and so a lot of us can sing and play instruments. I get tired of singing, but
right. I see Monique Lee said, never would have made it. Yes, that Marvin Sapp.
That
always great from Marvin Sapp.
That's one of the songs I can't listen to. I can listen to, but I'm just oh God, I'm sorry.
Yeah, never would have made it without him.
Oh, right.
Okay, so earlier this year, Angels We Have Heard on High, The Reapers, Act C, made in 2020, was very successful at the Croc Art Museum auction, and Prayer Corner is currently in the Verge Art auction. And you had an exhibition at Bisa Katagaro Gallery. You had some large scale commissions, several residencies planned in 2020. How do you feel about your emerging art career? And what are your hopes for your future?
It feels very weird, but amazing and simple and unattainable, but very simple. Like, we've always been told this, growing up in church and wherever else, write the vision and make it plain. When you ask God or the universe for something, it says to ask and you shall receive. I did not say to keep asking me, to keep begging. That like shows a sign of doubt. And so I was like, okay, what do I want to do with this art? Like, I wrote everything down. I want to be in auctions at museums. I want to be installed in museums. I want to have multiple international residencies. I want to give lectures at esteemed colleges, universities, museums all over, and live a wealthy, healthy, comfortable life off of art. And I didn't second guess that. I wasn't downing that, like, oh God, please. Well, I don't know. Like, no. And it's all happening like right on time. It's very crazy. And so I'm very blessed. I don't take any of it lightly. Right now I'm just getting my travel plans together for next year. I know it's very early, but trying to get them locked down now for Bulgaria and Greece of next year. And then just seeing what's after that, just keep rising, keep elevating and challenging myself as a human being, and to go into the dark places and to accept my shadow and, search that and, and heal those parts of me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really loving my art career. I have some really great clients, who believe in me, and just people, they show a lot of love. People show a lot of love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you for sharing yourself with us. You're the second in this series. First, I had Ida Lizalde on the first, but you and I have been talking about this for a long time. Since I think this summer, we wanted to get. We did a little video while you were in your residency at Joshua Tree. But I just want to thank you for sharing yourself with us, because you show up in your work. Your mom shows up, your family, what you're thinking through. You show us as Black people. You give us a space on your canvas. So I want to thank you for that. Someone said strength in cardboard. I love that. And I actually did not think of cardboard. As we're on this piece right here, this is one of my favorites also. This is also another cardboard piece.
Yeah.
And when you told me you were going to work in cardboard, I was intrigued, because I haven't seen anything on cardboard in a while. Normally, there's some work that we see, maybe MoMA. I think of like Basquiat use, these different mediums. But when I see that cardboard, it was beautiful in person, the texture, the creases. And if we talk about Prayer Corner and A Moment to Be, there's these corners that these women are either facing or walking away from.
Yeah.
Is there anything, as I seen that, I didn't actually have that as a question planned, but when I see the work, this is something I've been thinking through. What does that corner mean for you?
Oh, that corner is like our secret space, our prayer closet, behind the veil. You got to go into that prayer corner, that prayer closet, and just heal and purge and cleanse, and then turn right back around and head back out into this beautiful white world. Damn it. The devil is a liar, we'll tell you that. But yeah, this cardboard, I really love cardboard. I really do love painting with it. I've eased up on it for the moment, but I do have some really great ideas that I want to do in the near future for this show, the new show that I'm working on. So yeah, and the black and white, the black and white, it's so simple, but it's just so so complex for me, and I love that.
Yeah. So Justina Martino has a question.
How have
residencies influenced your art?
They challenge me so much, and it's annoying to a certain point, because you're in a new place, you don't know anyone, you don't know the lay of the land, and so you're like, okay, take it in. How am I going to how is this going to influence my brushstroke? You know, what colors am I going to use? In the desert, I was I was feeling the whole flag stuff and patriot for some reason, because I was like, the desert, like dry. I was thinking about old westerns, you know, just being in Joshua Tree. I'm like, okay, like American. I feel American out here. I'm gonna paint some flags and keep it cute. Right. And right. And so in France, like that residency, it just made me pay attention to the finer things in life and really slowed me down and pampered. You know, I allowed myself to pamper myself. I was like, okay, in the desert, I was like, I allow myself to be rugged and raw and dusty and sweaty. I don't know what's going to happen in Bulgaria and Greece. I know Greece will be oily. I know that.
And I seen on your Instagram, you're actually doing a Black Friday sale. So I need to jump in on that. I actually have tons of Jupiter's work. This is a Black Madonna right here.
All that gold.
Yes. One of my favorites. I mean, I have so many that are my favorites of your work, but how can people get your work? Like, should they go to your website, go to your Instagram? How can they
they can go to my Instagram, DM me, or just go to you. But yeah, I am having a Black Friday holiday sale because I've recently just been blessed. And so when I get blessed, it's imperative as an artist that you pay it forward in some form or fashion, because I don't have to have this life. You know, these chips and cars don't have to fall the way they've been falling like this for me, you know? So I was like, no, I know there's some folks who've been wanting some art. And I'm like, okay, cutting these prices here because, you know, that's walking through the door for me. So boom.
Right.
Just DM me on my Instagram.
I love that shows up again on this talk, accessibility, and how you're making work accessible for people to collect your work. And it's, you know, I appreciate you because, you know, I definitely do some layaway plans.
Yes, people, I do layaway plans. Okay,
right.
Keeps the artist afloat.
Right.
Oh God. Yeah.
So thank you so much. Thank you for joining. I mean, I say bye, but I'm sure we'll talk tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think this is like a really good time to share with everyone. I already talked about my curatorial residency coming up at ArtSpace 1616. Which is pushed back to January 8th because of crazy COVID. But we'll have a space to have his own exhibition in my curatorial residency space. So he's working on some incredible works that that no one has seen, and he's going to present for those 2 months at my residency. So thank you for always being an amazing collaborator, and just an amazing artist. I am so happy and refreshed that you are here in Sacramento and that we have you for the short time that we do, because I know you are waiting for the airports to open up and go to and leave us.
I gotta go.
But I will share with everyone, the Verge Art Auction is having an amazing art auction, and Prayer Corner, which you've seen on this talk, is available. And from what I hear, already has some bids.
Yeah.
So,
the power of prayer. Look.
So thank you so much, Jupiter. As always, it's amazing to talk with you. I love you, and I cannot wait to continue to work with you. Thank you to Veritable Good Consulting and Jackie Cole for the production assistance. Go to jupitertheartist.com and at Jupiter the Artist to stay up to date with Jupiter. Also visit faithjmckinney.com and subscribe to my mailing list to find out more about upcoming programs and exhibitions. Thanks for watching.